Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Conflict News channel. Please subscribe my channel because today we are diving into one of the most dramatic demonstrations of air defense technology in recent times, as reports confirm that Russian air defense systems have fired waves of missiles and managed to destroy over 60 targets in a single engagement, a story that not only highlights the intensity of the conflict but also reveals the layered design, exterior strength, interior sophistication, performance precision, safety redundancies, unique selling points, price estimations, and overall conclusions about why such systems dominate modern battlefields and command so much attention from military analysts, governments, and ordinary viewers trying to understand how wars in the 21st century are fought in the skies. To begin this long exploration, imagine the battlefield sky as a constantly moving chessboard where both sides are deploying drones, aircraft, ballistic missiles, and cruise projectiles, each designed to slip through defenses and hit strategic infrastructure. Yet standing in their way are towering vehicles carrying vertical missile tubes and rotating radar dishes capable of sweeping the air hundreds of kilometers in every direction. And in the latest report, it was this combination of systems, from the long-range S-400 batteries to the shorter-range Pantsir and Buk systems, that together formed a shield which identified, tracked, and obliterated more than 60 aerial threats before they could descend upon their intended targets. The exterior of these systems is often the first thing that catches the eye and leaves an impression of formidable presence, because when you see an S-400 launcher with its massive tubes pointing skyward, mounted on an 8-wheeled heavy transporter, you see not just a machine but a visible declaration of defensive strength, painted in camouflage green, reinforced with thick armor, standing like mechanical guardians in open fields or forest clearings, capable of moving quickly when redeployment is necessary. And when these vehicles are positioned together in batteries of several launchers, radar units, and command posts, the exterior appearance alone conveys the image of a mobile fortress, an iron wall built to deny the skies to any intruder. Inside these systems, the interior is far different from the rugged shell seen on the outside, because once you step into the command vehicle or the control cabin of a Pantsir S-1 or an S-400 command post, you are confronted with advanced electronics, multiple consoles filled with high-resolution screens, radar scopes, and communication panels where trained operators sit in focused silence, monitoring blips of targets approaching from hundreds of kilometers away. The interior is not designed for comfort but for efficiency, with every inch of space dedicated to tactical awareness, missile control, and rapid response, where a team of a few officers can oversee a vast airspace, detect enemy planes or drones, and within seconds authorize missile launches that streak into the sky with a roar, guided by radar and onboard computers toward their targets. Performance is where these systems truly justify their reputation, because in the latest incident when over 60 targets were reported destroyed, it demonstrated the speed, accuracy, and scale of Russian air defense capabilities, with radars scanning simultaneously across multiple frequencies to prevent jamming, tracking perhaps hundreds of objects at once, and then selecting the most dangerous threats to engage, whether high-altitude bombers or low-flying drones. The performance numbers of the S-400 are particularly striking, with a range of up to 400 kilometers against aircraft, a maximum altitude of 30 kilometers, and the ability to engage stealth aircraft and ballistic missiles, while shorter-range systems like the Pantsir are able to intercept drones, helicopters, and cruise missiles within a range of up to 30 kilometers, ensuring that no single threat can overwhelm the layered defense when they operate in coordination. Safety features might seem less obvious in a machine designed for destruction, yet safety in this context refers to the protection of the operators and the resilience of the system under attack, and in this regard Russian designs emphasize redundancy and survivability, with command posts shielded inside armored cabins, missile tubes capable of rapid reload, radars able to switch frequencies to resist electronic warfare, and batteries dispersed across wide areas so that even if one is destroyed, others continue functioning to provide overlapping coverage. This redundancy is what makes it difficult for an enemy to create a gap, and in the event of heavy bombardment, these systems can quickly relocate, hiding under camouflage nets or moving along roads before re-establishing coverage, a form of safety achieved through mobility as much as armor. The unique selling points of these Russian air defense systems are numerous and help explain why several countries, including India, China, and Turkey, have either purchased or considered purchasing them despite international sanctions and political pressure. One of the strongest selling points is the tiered integration where systems of different ranges work together. Short-range Panzers protecting the long-range S-400 radars from drones or precision-guided munitions, while the S-400 covers wide areas against aircraft and missiles. Another selling point is the relatively lower cost compared to Western equivalents, since even though an S-400 battery can cost hundreds of millions of dollars, it is still cheaper than developing an equivalent American THAAD or Patriot system, while offering comparable or even superior range in some categories. Additionally, Russian systems are known for being mobile and relatively easy to deploy, allowing militaries to create temporary protective domes over critical assets like power plants, military bases, or government buildings. Price, of course, is a factor that cannot be ignored, because while the numbers are classified and vary with configurations, open-source estimates suggest that an S-400 battalion of 8 launchers with supporting radars and command posts can reach costs of around $500 million, and some contracts with foreign nations have run into several $billion when multiple battalions were purchased. Meanwhile, smaller systems like the Panzer S-1 are estimated at $15 to $20 million per unit, which, though still expensive, are considered cost-effective when compared to the damage that an incoming drone swarm or missile barrage could inflict on a strategic facility. Thus, price becomes not just a financial figure but a calculation of risk versus protection, where governments decide that safeguarding their skies is worth billions when the alternative could be catastrophic losses. The conclusion that arises from this dramatic demonstration of over 60 aerial targets destroyed is not simply that Russian systems are powerful but that the very nature of modern warfare has shifted toward a contest of protection and penetration, where one side develops faster, stealthier, or more numerous weapons to overwhelm defenses, while the other builds ever more sophisticated shields capable of detecting, intercepting, and neutralizing them. And in this latest event, Russia has shown that its investment in layered air defense has paid dividends by protecting key infrastructure and possibly saving lives. Yet at the same time, critics note that such systems are not invincible, that saturation attacks could still overwhelm them, and that in the end no shield is perfect. But for now, the image of dozens of destroyed enemy targets fills the headlines and reinforces Russia's message that its skies remain defended by some of the most advanced air defense technology in existence. But to reach this point requires going deeper, exploring not just the statistics but the broader story of how Russian air defense systems evolved, how they are operated, and what they represent strategically. The Soviet Union was among the pioneers of surface-to-air missile technology, developing the famous S-75 system that shot down a U-2 spy plane in 1960, and from that moment air defense became a central part of Soviet doctrine, carried forward into modern Russia where protecting the vast territory stretching from Europe to the Pacific demands not just a few batteries but an integrated nationwide network. Each generation of system improved in range, accuracy, and mobility, leading to today's S-400 and the even newer S-500, which is being introduced as a next-generation shield against hypersonic weapons. Externally, these systems embody a rugged, military-industrial aesthetic that is both functional and symbolic, their long vertical missile canisters lined up like pillars of steel, their radar dishes rotating slowly but constantly, scanning the skies as if challenging any intruder to test their defenses. This exterior design is more than appearance, it is engineered for rapid deployment, with hydraulic systems to raise and lower the tubes, heavy all-terrain vehicles to transport them, and reinforced plating to resist small arms fire or shrapnel. The visual impact of these systems when photographed or displayed at military parades also serves a psychological function, projecting strength to domestic audiences and warning potential adversaries. Inside, the interiors continue to evolve with each generation of electronics, transitioning from analog gauges of the Cold War era to fully digital displays with computerized fire control systems today, giving operators a clear picture of airspace with target information color-coded for quick recognition. Training for these operators is intense, since in real battle they may have only seconds to identify a hostile missile and authorize an intercept, and the stress inside the command cabin can be immense, yet the ergonomic layout of the interior helps them remain efficient, with consoles positioned for teamwork and data instantly relayed through secure communication lines to higher headquarters. Performance in actual combat is the ultimate test, and while Russian claims must always be weighed against independent verification, the sheer volume of targets reportedly destroyed in one night suggests that the systems are functioning as intended, especially in intercepting the growing threat of drone swarms. These drones, often small and inexpensive, are designed to evade radar by flying low and in large numbers, yet the combination of Panzer guns and missiles with larger interceptors has proven able to eliminate dozens in quick succession, demonstrating that even inexpensive threats can be countered when layered defenses are in place. Safety again comes into play in protecting not just the system but the people and infrastructure behind it, since every intercepted drone or missile means another power plant, bridge, or civilian neighborhood spared from destruction. Redundancy in radars, overlapping fields of fire, and mobile deployment ensures that these systems are not easily blinded or suppressed, and this resilience is one of their greatest strengths, because modern enemies often rely on electronic warfare to disable defenses before an attack, but Russian designs are hardened to resist such interference. The unique selling point that foreign buyers often cite is the independence that comes from owning such systems, since a nation equipped with S-400 batteries is less reliant on foreign air forces to defend its skies and can operate with greater sovereignty, which explains why countries like Turkey risked angering NATO by purchasing them, believing that the protective shield they provide outweighs the diplomatic cost. And for Russia, selling these systems abroad not only generates revenue but also strengthens its geopolitical influence.